Because there is such a thing as an unjust law, that civil magistrates can immorally use the law as a weapon of injustice, we need to be able to discern if a law is just or unjust. The following 5 standards help us do that. First, a just law must be written and easy to understand. It must be written and easy to understand to hold authorities accountable and limited in what they can do. An unwritten law grants the source of that law unlimited power. Law becomes arbitrary and dependent upon the whims of the ruler or rulers. Such a system is a threat to the individual rights of the people. Laws, to be just or good, must also be easy to understand. Complex and confusing legislation has the same effect as unwritten laws. If the meaning of laws are not straightforward and simple, then the source, the interpreter of those laws, has undefined and potentially unlimited power. They can just simply say that the law means whatever they want it to mean. Such a system leaves people at the mercy of government and leads to despotism. Second, a just law must come from the proper authority. Civil government does not have absolute authority. It does not have the authority to legislate in all areas of life. God did not grant civil magistrates the authority to dictate how parents should raise their children or what parents should teach their children. God did not delegate to the state the authority to spread the gospel, to impose religion. Those are only a few examples, and there are many more. Knowing and understanding the 3 God-ordained governments and the specific and distinct responsibilities of each will help us to limit government to its proper role. Third, a just law must not contradict God's laws. God's laws include the 10 Commandments and other prohibitions and mandates that are expressed throughout the Bible. However, it does exclude those laws that have been abrogated by the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. If people, society, were to base laws on any other source, such as the whims of one person, or a group of people, or the opinions of the majority, those laws, which establish right and wrong, would be relative. Right and wrong would be changeable, malleable, and a clear threat to individual natural rights, and likely to establish some form of tyranny over the people. Understanding that there is a higher law that applies to all people everywhere helps us to know that civil government's authority is inherently limited. Governing officials, legislatures, executives, judges are, like everyone else, subject to God's law. God's laws are the highest laws, and they apply to us as individuals, and they apply to groups, to collectives, to government. Because the state is subject to God's laws, its authority is inherently limited. Therefore, any law that contradicts God's law is unjust. Fourth, a just law must not violate natural rights. Assaulting a person or stealing from another is wrong when you are a civilian or when you are a governing official. The source of our rights is God, and so the civil magistrate does not have the authority to infringe or deny these rights. It's wrong for me as an individual to violate a person's rights to property or life by stealing or assaulting or even murdering. It is also wrong if I do those things with a group of people. And getting elected as governor, or to Congress, or as president does not suddenly mean that it is ethical or okay for me to violate people's rights. And fifth, a just law must not show favoritism. All are to be equal under the law. Since laws have the effect or essence of declaring what is right and what is wrong, then any law that shows favoritism or discriminates is claiming that certain actions or behavior are wrong for some people but not others. Or, such laws establish second-class citizens by mandating that certain people may not do what others can. Or, such laws serve to protect certain people or groups by requiring others to meet certain obstacles before they may participate. These obstacles, of course, are more difficult for the poor to overcome, thus favoring the established and the wealthy. So, do you agree with the 5 standards? If not, which ones do you have issues with and why? Should there be another standard? Let me know in the comments section. Although all of God's laws are just, because God by His nature is just, not all of God's laws are to be mandated and enforced by the state. In our next episode, we will address sin in the state. Which sins does government have the authority to punish? All of them? None of them? Or some of them? If some, which ones and why?